Hello, everybody, and welcome to 8888 Needle, Alabama. I'm guessing Alabama. But yeah, this is supposed to be a horror story, ambient game. So lock in, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and get ready for a spooky, ambient time. So yeah, let's get into this. From what I could see on Steam, it's about an hour and a half long. So we'll see about that. There are some really good comments about it, and then there were some that were not as good. Which I mean, I never really trust comments other than like if they specifically say a certain thing. The main thing is like, is it playable and stuff? Like check out for that. But people have different preferences, so. Chapter 1, Apocalypse. Today's the last day, and it would have been nice to see the blue sky one last time instead of this, this thick fog, but oh well. How to play, look around, and read hotspots by zooming in and out, by clicking the mouse. Look at arrow for a few seconds to proceed, and press enter to change settings. So look around and read hotspots, whatever that is, by zooming in and out by clicking the mouse. Look at an arrow for a few seconds to proceed. So it's kind of like a point and click, I guess. Not what I was expecting. There's a long road behind me. I reckon if it's gonna be a busy day, I've got many a folk to say my farewells to. Is there an arrow somewhere? Ah, the road behind me. Not what I was expecting, but we'll see. I tain't fit for these long walks. My old legs are worn out. I wonder if there's gonna be like jump scares. Alrighty. I'll go meet the Engel family first and spend some time with little Susie. She's about 12 and a most favorite child in the world. She's as pretty as a Georgia peach. Always has a big smile. Sorry, I said it's gonna be ambient and now I'm making this voice, but I'm here, I'm sticking with it. Unless if I later on decide not to, but I'm doing it. I often see her reading through this window here. She been helping me to read and write, but that gibberish just don't stick in my head no more. I done learnt how to write my name a few times, but letters always turn upside down. Did I already check out the spot? I'm guessing. I'll take these here flowers for Susie. That always makes her merry. Susan Mary Gahook. This is where the town children play around this time of day, but I don't see no sign of them. They usually be out here raising Cain, but not today. One time, some children was playing near the pond and they saw something moving about in it. What are these, like gas lines or something? I can't tell. Maybe graves? Perhaps it's a thick gas. So this is based on, is that August 8th, I think? 8, E. And then 1888. When the children came closer, they saw an escaped black prisoner. I reckon he got shot while trying to escape, because he was bleeding an awful lot. Right away, the children started to throw stones at him. Okay. Lovely children's activity. Just pelting a black guy with some stones. I had a dream that was a lot like this back area right here. It's a pretty wild dream. I don't really remember it much, but it was cool, I guess. One of the stones landed right in his eye and blinded him. This area was just puddles of red. That didn't stop the little rascals, though. They laughed and kept pelting. I'm belting them until Susie came out. She gave the kids hell for what they'd done and made them scramble away. Susie told the prisoner to hide in this here shed. She told no one about him but me. Boy, he was a terrible bush in terrible shape. A little angled. I wonder if this is an actual scan of some town. Well, the guard saw the bloodstains and figured out he was hidden nearby. They found him in the shed and... Is that a hanging mirror? Perhaps a sign with a loaf of bread on it, it seems. Perhaps, perchance. Hey, is anybody home? It's me, old Godfrey. Gilbert Gottfried? I think that's a different Gottfried. I'm shitting and pissing and... Yeah, you know. If you know, you know. Anyways, he's also the parrot on Aladdin. But, look, I got some flowers for little Susie. That's funny. Why hadn't they home? I'll come back after meeting some other folks. I'm guessing it won't let you progress until you see everything. I'm not going to check around every single time to see if there's anything I missed. If I see an arrow, I'm going. Unless if there are more blue spots around. This reminds me of that one building that burnt. I think it was a school, and that's why, pretty much the main reason why we don't have doors that open, you know, indoors. They mostly open outdoors because a bunch of kids piled up at the door and couldn't get out because it would only open if, you know, the other way. But now they reversed it so that all doors have to open outside for the most part for burn code and all that. It also reminds me of, I think there's a nickel or quarter that has a similar building also. And there's a, I heard, it might be a rumor, but if you find a cat on top of the building, it can be a lot more worth money-wise. Anyways, there's George Grady's house over yonder. Let me go and say my goodbyes to him. So is he moving away? What's happening? It's apocalypse? I don't really understand the story yet. I guess it is supposed to be mysterious. Why, where's everyone today? The whole town feels daggone quiet. Ain't so much as a mouse stirring about. Maybe everyone at the temple, but I don't hear about no ceremony or gathering today. Temple? You guys got a whole temple over here? I mean, I'd understand like a church. This seems like a church kind of town, but... I like the ambiance and stuff. It's pretty cool. Hey, George, you home? It's me, Godfrey. George and his Mrs. Been trying for a child almost 6 years with no luck. George shared his plight with our Lord, Father Glorious, and was told to bring his lovely wife to the temple for a divine blessing with the Father himself. Well, that was almost 9 months ago, and wouldn't you know it, she gave birth to a healthy boy. This their shitting bucket. Just another day, I see George telling some old folk about how the town ain't gone put up with the lies anymore. He said the trust was broken, that we all ought to start an uprising. We've been lied to for too long, those were his words. Yeah. I'm going to get a sip of water. Ooh. It'd be crazy if this actually like changed my accent from playing this for so long. If I'm doing an hour and a half of making that accent, it's probably going to change my voice a bit. Alright. Hopping the fence. There's Miss Wilson's place. She's an old widow that took care of me for many years. She told me about the religion, but says she ain't allowed to go to no rituals because they're evil. Fair enough. She's a fine cook too. Can't nobody cook like her. Just the other day, she brought so much food to the ceremony that I'd make a man's mouth water. It'd make a man's, me too maybe, I don't know. Tarts and cakes and some sandwiches, and I don't know what all. I'm just going for it because, it's kind of sloppy anyways, so. Sorry if I missay some things, but I'm going for it. Of course, none of us town folk got much to eat because the temple elders got served first, and then the temple guards had their fill. By and by when it was our turn, there weren't nothing left except crumbs. This house is decaying and in a shabby condition. I could have listened to Miss Wilson and painted it when I had the chance, but my brain can't remember so good. It's the last I could have done to repay her for her kindness. Hey, there she is, sitting at the window. Howdy do, Miss Wilson. Maybe she'll offer some cup of cocoa. That's my most favorite treat, and it'll be swell to enjoy at least last time. One time, one last time. Yes. Open up, Miss Wilson. I've been thinking about meeting you this morning. It's good old fine to see someone in town. Ma'am, it's Godfrey. Me. I saw you at the window just now, Ella. Holla. YG Wilkins. Something ain't right. Has it happened already? Oh, is it like a town cult? Death cult? Think I'll go talk to Ernest. He's a black servant over there, over at Judge Ravenel's house. Even if there's a ceremony at the temple, sure's heaven, Ernest ain't gone and been invited. In memory of Catherine Wilson, 1810 to 1885. So, 75 years old. widow of John Wilson. That big place is Judge Ravenel's house. He's almost one of He's also one of the founding members of the Temple. Praise be the Temple. That's a Take My Muffin reference. It's a new coming up show on YouTube. It's free, so suggest it. It's kind of like Rick and Morty. I might have already suggested that in one of my older videos, but hey. They say I'm and Father Glorious been friends since childhood. What? Yeah, I said that right, I'm pretty sure. Sure. Uh-oh. I'm guessing there might have been some kind of historical event in August 8th of 1888. I don't know much about history, so yeah. The judge and the father was both just a couple of regular farmers from Needle, Alabama. But now look at them. One's the country judge, and the other's our dear Father Glorious. Leave it in thy Lord's hands, for thou can't grasp his ways. Father Glorious said that I'm a sermon just the other day. The faint sound of leaves rustling in the wind makes it feel so lonesome and mournful, as if the whole world dead and gone. Hopefully Ernest will tell me where the whole town gone to. I'd like to say my goodbyes, 'cause ain't knowing what's gonna happen tomorrow. Or today, apparently. Knock, knock. Hello, Ernest. Oh my Lord, who's a shooting and firing? Stop firing, it's me, old Godfrey. Doggone it, who's out there? I better hide behind the house. Well, show ain't getting shot today. Ain't no way, no sir. Hiding in the bushes. I got to sit tight and be extra quiet. I'm trembling all over and I can't stop shaking. Look, my hands just won't stop quivering. The town's been talking that this day would come. Most of the folks lost their trust but they should have stayed silent. They know darn well what the temple guards is capable of. Uh-oh. Dear Lord, please save me. I hope I'm safe here. I've just gotta hush and not make so much as a squeak. We told George Grady that he's asking for mucking him by raising too many questions. Don't he know that what became of all the others that doubted the Father? The temple's got ears everywhere. Now look at the dreaded mess we're in. no more. I think the guards went back to the temple. Let me try again. If Ernest is home, my old heart's thumping too fast. It ain't good for me. Intense. Was not expecting the gunshot. Please, Ernest, I beg you to open up. I'm terrified. I ain't breathing so good. Looks like to stay here, still here. Yeah. As Little John would say, is yeah. Hang it. It's locked. Kinda gotta piss. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna piss. Stick here. Make sure nothing happens. Alright, I'm back. Anything happen? No? Good? We're good? Alright, here we go. This one's locked to footsteps of guards walking nearby. Oh Lord, please make them be gone. Let me go have a peek. Good old-fashioned wall peek. May God curse those darn guards. I reckon they went back to the temple. That still don't explain where all the folks is. Everyone gone and disappeared into the fog for all I know. That looks like some place you could really store some bodies. Farmer Jim lives in that town, in that house down yonder, and that's his barn next door. He's a firm, unfrivolent believer of Father Glorious. Never misses a sermon or ceremony at the temple. He's always dressed in his fine white cottons for all the rituals. Says he's been to all of them. Say at least his horse and cows ought to be there. Seeing any sight of life be heaven sent for my soul. I feel terribly alone and empty. Good old Godfrey feeling empty in his soul. Could have sworn I heard footsteps. There ain't no animals, no horses, and no cows. One of Jim's cow had a calf that was recently sacrificed. Jim would have personally sacrificed his old trusted steed if the father so asked. Many of the townfolk been giving Jim the cold shoulder recently. George Grady told us to be careful what we tell him, 'cause Jim only loyal to the temple. Jim has changed an awful lot since he became a believer. He weren't like this. A rotten stench is coming out of that shed. I wonder what remains Jim put in there, but it's decomposing and giving off a rancid smell. No use of this firewood no longer. It's been laying here untouched for years. I wonder how cold Alabama gets during the winter. The whole town's posed to gather in this field tomorrow for the uh, decisive day. Father Glorious had his heavenly vision in the same field more than 20 years ago. Angels came down and gave the holy revelation. That was the day regular old Avery Cartwright became our Father Glorious. I often sit here and stare at the skies to maybe catch a glimpse of those angels. They say Father Glorious' black hair instantly turned ashen white after his encounter. I remember once meeting Jim after the first of the rituals. He had a crazy look in his eyes, like that old a madman or a murderer. He smelled smoke and burning. Kept chanting glory, glory, glory like a raving lunatic. He became feverish after that for almost a week. That used to be Father Gloria's house. But now it belongs to Warden Henry, say. That's a good idea. I'll head to Cartwright Prison and maybe they'll know what the deal is. I'm sure the prisoners are still around. See, I ain't no dummy that Irwin makes me out to be. Maybe the prisoners have escaped. Vienna sausages, am I right? Very nice. Oh, there. Wiener juice all over my face and body. Not the best, though. That kind of sucks a lot. Sponsor me. Alright. Let's move on past that. Don't worry, everything's under control. Alright. What's next? Oh, that's next. Oh. If I wasn't covered in wiener juice, this would be very intense. Big fan of Vienna sausages, though. Chapter 2, Demons. Are there going to be 8 chapters? I made the long walk to the prison. Can't believe this has been my daily walk to work for so many years. My legs ain't what they used to be, or something like that, probably. Hey Billy, it's your old friend Gottfried. I ain't reporting for work, so don't get no ideas, you hear? Open up quick, I gotta tell you about the town and how everyone's missing. This reminds me of the starting part in, I think, Dark Souls 1, where you kind of have to roll up that hill. Just as expected. Ain't no sign of him. Well, Billy's always been a lazy slouch, so maybe he's off napping somewhere. Definitely not dead. I've been a janitor in this prison for many years, and Billy was always talking my ear off with all that gossip in the world. Talked so darn much that he even told me some of prisoners about the big day tomorrow, and now he's excited as they come and da ba la ba da ba da ba da. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the dog doing? Oh my good lord, I ain't seen a single person all day, and this sounds like the damn dog Stonewall alive and well. I hope to gracious that he ain't coming with us tomorrow. I hear footsteps. I can't wait till my beard starts growing back a little bit, because I know how ridiculous I look. I know, guys, you don't have to comment it. Maybe. I hate all the guard dogs here, but none's worse and more vicious than the blasted Stonewall. Rumor is they hasn't brought him from George Cuba. He has confined as a pup, as daily starved Given a snack only when he chased a black person. He was beaten so often that his skin was thickened. Now he goes rabid just at the sight of black man. Oh, many of whom he's maimed and eaten. Why, he's become so violent that they most never take the muzzles off. I'm or he even bitten Warden. It was my bad luck one day that I was cleaning near the kennel area and Billy had forgot to put the muzzle back on. Well, that god darn stone wall bit through the chunk, so my left leg and ain't been able to walk right since. So I'm not sure when slavery and all that was going on, but I'm wondering, after it was illegal, people probably kept on doing it. Yeah. There's always been two guards up in that tower, but ain't no sign of them neither. Billy told me that those guards killed Abe some weeks ago when he was trying to escape. He was older than 80 and would have known he'd get shot. Maybe that was his purpose. This place reeks of asbestos and lead paint. Boy, this place is just getting shabbier and crummier since they fired me. Billy tells me that I was the best janitor this place ever had, but now it's all falling apart. Wow, just look at all this decay everywhere. I remember this. They took it on the day that day working for the professor's head. Even Judge Ravenel showed up to see the person. Strange thing to celebrate. Did work on Professor's head. Okay. To the Honorable Father Glorious, I had written to you earlier as the proposed leasing of more convicts. As you are aware, our company has been leasing convicts from Cartwright Prison and have been paying our fair dollar value for them, not to mention my personal donations to the temple. However, our request for 300 more convicts has not been met, and we are in dire need of more blacks. Of the 400 we originally leased, more than half have perished, and work on the railroad has drastically slowed. Our shareholders are not happy. I beg that you pardon my bluntness, but for the last time, please send more blacks. We shall look elsewhere. Your Yours respectfully, J.L. Smith, Chairman, Montgomery South Railroad Corp. So maybe they're just mad because they didn't get their workers? And maybe they did something, perhaps, to the people of the town. Let me go talk to Warden Henry and see what he figures. Most of the townsfolk say that Warren Henry ain't a bad person, but I disagree. Even when he was a plantation owner, he was well known across the country about how brutally he treated his slaves. So apparently, it is. I think it is. What I was thinking is like after slavery was done, and they still be slaving. Warden Henry was then a colonial during the Civil War, and I believe that further hardened him into who he is today. No black prisoner so much as moves when they hear Warden Henry's come through. Dear Henry, it has been brought to my attention that Alabama State Senator Robert Barnes is forming a special commission to investigate claims of abuse at the prison. I'm convinced it was leaked by the detestable Smart Alec from Ohio, so see it to it that he gets what is deserving. Control the deaths and torture in the prison for some days, and for heaven's sake, have the whole facility cleaned. The English language does not have the sufficient words to express the uttermost stench in the prison. Clean up the vile prisoners and make them at least presentable before the commission comes. I am pressing some legislatures and even Avery to put an end to this dastardly commission. Therefore, till I hear from them, I remain your most truly Judge Thomas Ravenel. This office is mighty comfortable compared to the rest of the rundown prison. I'd sit here sometimes while cleaning if the warden weren't in, away from all that chaos and cruelty of the cells. So, is the war still going on then for liberation? My dearest friend Avery, I pray this letter finds you in the best of health. I have not been regular at the temple these last few weeks, but it is only because I have been busy sentencing so many new convicts for our mutual benefit. I endeavor to bring to your attention the bothersome Senator Barnes and the commission he is forming to audit the prison. We must quell this commission through protests by the townspeople. I propose that you heat up the town against the blacks. Perhaps a rape accusation, followed by a ritual that will get the town into a frenzy. Tell the town that Barnes and the commission want to set all these black rapists and murderers free unto their women and children. P.S. Young Mary has turned 14 and is quite the beauty. I shall be most glad if you arranged a tryst between us during the next ceremony. Always your true companion, Thomas Ravenel. Well then. They seem like not the greatest people. There's a growing fear in me that is already happened because Billy and the warden ain't here neither. What'll become on me if everyone's already gone? This is taking a pretty dark turn. I was not expecting it to go anywhere like this. I was just expecting like a spooky mystery, you know? Not all that. Black prisoners got to be in their cells because Father Glorious said many a time that it'd only be us white folk up here. Let me check the cell blocks. I don't even know what time I started recording, so I don't know how long I have left really. Maybe I'm a above average reader. Probably not. But this cell block feels dead and hollow just like everyone else. Everything else. Probably everyone else too. I always hear cries, groans, and screams here, so the silence feels spooky and depressing. Sweltering hot, I'm dried up and thirsty. I'll sit down here after I figure out what's going on. I wonder if there's going to be any very surprising, scenes. Ah, yes, the potty. I didn't enjoy cleaning these toilets one bit. They'd been overflowing with filth and the smell was putrid. But I did the dutiful cause I'm a good janitor. Dutiful. Ha. Light in a good situation. Bad situation. I don't know. There's usually around 20 convicts crammed in this here cell. That's a lot. Sweating in the scorching humidity, one prisoner's Titus was kept here and was Titus probably was kept here and was always friendly to me. He used to be a slave and didn't have no place to go once he was freed after the war. One day he was sitting under a tree minding his own business and the sheriff arrested him for vagrancy. I don't know what vagrancy is, so I'm going to look that up. Oh, that is my can. Ah, homelessness. Judge Ravenel sentenced Titus to 5 years for that. He was leased out to the plantation a few months after, where he and 10 other convicts was told to clear the swamp down in Jackson County. I heard that they was chained for days in that knee-deep pool of muck. Many got malaria from mosquitoes and ticks constantly eating away at them. The Alabama sun got Titus and so thirsty that I was drinking the same filthy swamp water they'd been standing in wasting for days. Most of them died from sickness, but Titus made it out. Well, he was sent back here just a couple weeks later because the plantation owner's missus said he followed behind her one evening that spooked her and she kept complaining to her husband. Titus told me he was just one that asked for some water and didn't know what he'd done wrong. A few days later, Titus was back and black. Sorry, I had to make it. It was there. So, blah, blah. Anyways, Father Glorious told all of us that a ceremony that a young black man had dared touch and rape a white woman and that he been brought to divine justice. Kablammy, probably. or the other one. They held a ritual and Titus was invited, but I didn't go because I promised Miss Wilson I wouldn't. I never saw him after that. He was no older than 15. That's a good thing about the internet, I think, is that since we have the internet, we can connect with other cultures and stuff and have more sympathy and shit, I feel. And, uh, yeah, I feel like the internet is a huge thing for complete world peace. Also, with like nations and stuff, I've thought about this quite a bit. Is like, I feel like eventually stuff is gonna change a lot with countries and stuff because like countries at war was a big thing because like they had no really way to, you know, there was no sense of community. But now that the world has the internet and we can kind of connect through that, I feel like it's a really good tool. And I wouldn't say just tool, but you know, it's a good way to communicate with each other and have a good time and you know not kind of like segregate um, like cultures and stuff and like instead of separating countries and stuff we can actually work together and like kind of come into one kind of, you know. It's probably going to be a little bit of bumpy ride here and there, but eventually I feel like it's going to be a lot, definitely going to be a lot better than all the wars and stuff that have been happening over the years. Whenever I'm out of this, when I'm in the cell, it makes me heartsick and blue. There was a prisoner here, and he became a friend of mine. His name was Isaac, but everyone called him Professor. Uh, yeah, brain surgery guy. The guy that got something done with his head. I'm not sure if it was actually surgery or not, but weren't even from the South. He just was a newspaper writer all the way from Ohio. He was the only schooled black man I ever did see. I didn't even know he was black till now. There was also a picture there, I'm pretty sure, that I could have looked at, but yeah. I don't know which one would have been him. What? Toilet? Toilet time? Well, he come down south right about how things was going 10 years late after the Civil War ended. The judge didn't like him snooping around our town. Then he probably killed him. That's just how he do. Most respected Senator Barnes, I take the liberty of describing to you the deplorable conditions as I have witnessed of prisoners at Cartwright Prison in Needle, Alabama. Convicts are brutally tortured and tormented on a daily basis. They are then leased out to corporations for profit in a form of legal slavery. Work conditions at these companies are deplorable, and many convicts are affected by exhaustion, malaria, dysentery, and gunshot wounds. Nearly no leased convicts ever make it back alive to the prison. Senator, I urge you and your fellow Alabama legislature to probe the disgraceful exploitation that is taking place at this prison. Judges, sheriffs, and the police are part of the racket. You will likely not receive more letters from me since I fear I will be leased out soon or worse. Yours faithfully, Isaac Jones. I don't think that ever made it out of the prison. professor was accused of stealing a chicken and sent here by the judge Ravenel for 10 years on account of grand theft. I never quite figured why a well-to-do man would steal a chicken, but it was his word against the white farmers. Over time, he got to telling other prisoners how about things was in Ohio, starting filling their heads about mumbo jumbo like freedom and rights for blacks. Well, Billy ran his big mouth off to the warden about this, even though I told Professor to stay quiet about such ideas. Next day, all the prisoners was brought in this area, and the guards dragged Professor out of his cell. Judge Ravenel even came and was given a nice seat. All the rest of us had to stand and watch. Professor was tied down to this here chair. And the doctor was brought in and said he'd do some sort of experimenting by hooking up big wires on Professor's head. Doc pulled down a lever and sent electricity through him. I've worked here a long time, but I never heard such cries of pain and agony like I did that day. I remember the foul stank of burnt human flesh in the air. Professor was never the same. His jumbled words didn't make no sense. He just gazed into the distance and drool run down his mouth. That's what happened to blacks that think too much around here, is what the warden warned others. I found his dead body in the cell a few days later after that. These sad memories is making me feel miserable. I just want to be at the ceremony at the temple, where Father Glorious always gives us hope. I used to like sitting on mercy sakes, Stonewall barked sound nearby. He's in the cell block. I'm terrified to death about that damn devil. Yeah, that's pretty jump scary. Spooky scary. That got me. 2. I still remember the pain when his fangs pierced my leg all that way to the bone. 3 men had to pull him off and rip the meat from my leg. I've cleaned up the mess so many times after they used Stonewall on the prisoners. One time the body was barely joined to the head because he eaten clean through the neck. Took me all day to clean that mess of blood in his cell block. God, all the terrible memories in Stonewall is flooding back to me. 5 prisoners was once planned to escape, and warden round them all up and stripped them naked. They chained their hands up and let Stonewall and a couple other dogs gorge themselves. Footsteps getting closer. Hide one of these cells, pray you don't see me. So do the doors not exist anymore, or? Hello? That is a big dog. That is an abnormally large dog. That is a huge ass dog. That dog was like half my height or more. I can't hide in here all day. He's smelling me out. He tastes my blood. I know he won't go for just my leg today. I'm dead afraid to leave the cell right now. Sound like he gone off to the other end of the prison, so I'll head this other way. I got to stay on my toes because he could be lurking in the shadows. Oh, looky there. Look like some of the prisoners got scribbled tomorrow's date in the prison. Billy probably never told them that they gonna be left behind during the apocalypse. Father Glorious always says, only you, the true believer, shall ascend to the heavens. So they're saying to them that tomorrow's going to be the apocalypse for them. Boy, I get downright giddy when just thinking about the promised land that Father told us about, where the cream and honey flows and streams, where the rapists, rapists, sorry, uh, different topics. The rapist fruits hang in every tree, where it's only us believers in the green hills and meadows. Yes, many old town folk got doubts about Father, especially that George Grady, but I still dream of that day when the angels fly us to the heavens. Somebody really ought to talk some sense into George. Why the other day I'm and many other towns folks be saying they got lots of needs help against temple guards. A dog, a dog, my cats. George said the craziest thing I ever heard in all my born days. That the town ought to be free all the black prisoners so they can help take down the temple guards. He been plumb crazy. What exactly does he figure going on do? That's just going to march into this prison and open up all the cells. It's raining now. I guess George thinks it's gonna be simple walking in the park. He probably thinks it's easy gonna come down this here wall. And supposing he hides among the trees in these here burrows so the guards won't see him. Supposing he somehow climbs up this wall and gets in through this window here. And once George gets in, I suppose he's going to open up the cells to free the black prisoners and convince them to march with them to the temple. He really believes I'm gonna give in the extra sets of keys that still I still got. What does he expect? That prison guards and dogs will be asleep? They gonna welcome him with open arms? Spooky scary. Don't we know that prison guards will be shooting and firing at every last one of them? It'd be a bloody massacre. I mean, it doesn't really seem like anybody's around, so that might be just what's happening. If all the convicts ever did get out, I can only imagine what they'd do to the prison guards. Maybe a group of them would even go after Stonewall for all the terror he done. Hell, at the end of it, you probably find George Grady's body among all the dead, riddled with bullets, even if the prisoners did get out. No, 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 all this can't happen. Someone better talk some smarts into that boy George, for heaven's sakes. I'll have a word with him. Uh, if I can find him, that is. I find my way out the prison now. Ain't nobody here except Stonewall. No one would ever even hear my wails for help if he attacks me. Mouse. Still sends me chills down my spine when I come near cells, 'cause that's where they used to keep Moses. I feel like spirits wandering, haunting this area. He used to be a slave and had told others that on the plantation about how his ancestor used to be some kind of witchcraft or voodoo many years ago. But he didn't believe in that gibberish himself. Plantation Moses was at had almost 100 pigs, but they all got swine fever once. The sick hogs would just lie down all day and huddle together in a pile, most of them vomiting with high fevers and diarrhea. A few weeks later, their back legs stopped working, and all the hogs on the plantation died of illness. The plantation owners got hearing these rumors about Moses' witch ancestors and accused him of putting an evil spell on pigs and on his farm. Judge Ravenel sentenced him for witchcraft. Yeah, that is also crazy how like recent all this kind of history has happened. Like it's only like a couple of generations, you know. Moses was sent here, although he said he didn't know nothing himself about no witchcraft. That was only his ancestors. A few months after he was here, many of the prisoners got sick with chloria, whatever that is. Chloria. Cholera. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Cholera. It's like causes diarrhea and dehydration. Again, people started blaming Moses for the sickness, although he had also gotten so sick he almost died. Many a prisoner died from the disease. I hated cleaning up the cells after the piles of dead bodies was disposed because I didn't want to get no nasty sickness. Praise the glorious Father that I didn't get sick during that time. I don't know what. I'm feeling like puking. I think I'm just imagining like back then, like just out in the country, all the deteriorating shit, horrible conditions and shit. Pretty awful. The warden decided it was best to lynch Moses because he didn't want him pulling no witchcraft at a convict camp elsewhere. Father Glorious agreed, and it was settled to have a lynching in the town for the whole public's viewing. Where that dog? Moses was none too pleased, said he done nothing to nobody when they was trying to noose around his neck. He said he cursed the prison and the whole town of Needle, and that his ancestral evil spirits would forever haunt him. I was there when they hung him, since it's my job to clean him up afterwards. The branch they was hanging him broke during the lynching, and he fell from a height which broke both his legs. They dragged his broken body back to a different tree and hung him again, this time at work. The townsfolk gave an applause, and I especially remember the beaming smile on Farmer Jim's face. The memory of his hanging body with his eyes bulging out haunts me every day. I wonder why the camera goes all like sideways like this when I look around. I always fear that his curse has put demons and wicked spirits on this prison and town. And town. Everything's gone straight to hell in three shakes of sheep tail, as the saying goes. His curse that this town would suffer has probably come true. Goodness gracious sakesness, that's recipish. Goodness gracious sakes. I gots to go to the temple and tell Father Glorious about all this. He and he alone can save us. That's what he always says at the ceremony. Chapter 3, Angels. There ain't much time left for the day to end, and I must tell Father Glorious that Moses' curse has come true. I'm drained from all the walking, but I must endure. Thank God we're out of there. I hated it. Thank the Lord I'm far enough from prison now. I often wish that the temple weren't built on such a high cliff, but I today, 'cause I ain't got no worries about the stone wall following me all the way here. appreciate. Father Glorious had the temple built on a cliff so that he can watch over us for our protection. There's many a dangers out there for us plain simple town folk, and as Father says, the biggest one is them black people. Since the war ended, we've been told that the blacks need to be put in prison and kept inside, or else they run rampant on our women and children. And all that Father asks in return, as far as this protection, is that we donate our earnings to the temple, which earnings to not earnings, which I've been gladly doing. I remember being in this exact spot just the other day. I was sitting on this here rock with little Susie, and the other children was playing nearby. A couple of children had put pine seeds on the tree and was waiting behind with the basket. They was trying to catch fox squirrels. Well, they finally trapped one and they hollered with joy. Those rascals beating black people and foxes, probably. I'm gonna prick this twig through its mouth and out the other end, said one of the rascals, and I'm gonna start a fire so we can burn it like we seen in the ritual the other day, said the other. Oh, there's some pretty dark rituals then. Susie picked up a rock and threw it on the child's foot before they could do nothing, anything. That made them scoot away from Susie, free the squirrel. She's my most favorite child, always laughing, always smiling, her big bright smile. Not poking squirrels through the butt and the mouth. Always good beating them rascals off the black folk. I ain't hear her laugh in a long time though. She was helping a escaped prisoner in the temple found out soon after it was announced that she'd been chosen as a new Lady Bliss. Probably not a great thing knowing this place. Probably horrible. Probably not a good thing. Just saying, just from what I gathered from here yonder. I was overjoyed for little Susie been chosen to be the newest wife of Father Glorious. Father says that in his holy duty to get married 80 times by the apocalypse, and now Susie could be one of the ladies in bliss. That's pretty wild. That's a pretty good deal for Father Glorious. I remember seeing her in the wedding ceremony. She looked like an angel when she was walking down the aisle and sat next to Father Glorious. I looked at her and she looked back at me with the saddest eyes. Oh, how I wish I could have comforted her in that moment. Seen her 3 months later at the next ceremony where Father Glorious was marrying the new young Lady Bliss. Susie stood behind the throne alongside the other Lady Bliss. She looked different than the other girls because she weren't smiling. Her eyes had an empty, lost look. I waved to her, but I figured she hadn't noticed. I could tell her mind was elsewhere. What? What is it? Wait a goddamn minute. That sounds like Susie. Susie, my child, where are you? Hopefully this has a happy twist where they all escaped and got the bad people. Maybe, I don't know. Susie, it's really you. I'm glad I finally found you. Can't wait till your parents. They've been worried about sick about you. I've been asking the whole town since I ain't heard from you, but they always turn the topic when I say your name. They just look down and never answer. Your mom and pa have been looking awfully broken-hearted as of lately. They don't even look like the same folks no more, with sunken eyes and deep buried frowns. Feels like all the happiness been sunk straight out of them, like a golf ball stuck in a hose. But the golf ball is pretty small and you can suck it pretty easily. Slow down, child. My legs ain't so good, and I've been walking all day. And their dog Stonewall bitten it a long time ago. Also, something awful strange is going on. The whole town just disappeared. Oh boy, I'ma sit down by the water for a minute. My dog is killing me. Not Stonewall though, just my hot dog fingers and feet, fingers too, 'cause I got arthritis probably. Okay, that's enough. Back on the old dusty trail, as they say. Town's not big for the both of us. Some of the town folk been thinking about taking the boat and leaving Needle for good. It's too late for what now caught was the big days tomorrow. The apocalypse, good old apocalypse. We all love the apocalypse, you know. Great time to do whatever you want. Marry 80. Yep, yep, that's one of the things. Tomorrow on 8888, the whole town gonna be gathering a big field and all us gonna drink the heavenly milk. Probably poison, but we don't care because yeah. The town's children be the first to drink it, and then they'll cover their faces with a white cloth, lay down on the field, and wait for the angels to take them to heaven. So this is a true story, by the way. I know the events probably are very like a lot of the stories, but I wonder if this specific story is real. After that, us townfolk drink it, and finally Father Glorious, probably not, at the end. I get slap happy thinking about the final moments as we all lay in the field with our faces covered. Some weeks ago, we was all brought to the field to practice the last day, but we was given just regular old milk, not special and heavily milk they had been making and sorting down prison. Ah, yes, heaven milk. Why, I'll be where the heck all the temple guards? There's always a small army of guarding the temple gates, but had no trace of them today. The whole town's afraid of those bastards. They will wear ugly green robes and frightened white wigs. Worst part is the mask they wear, with long noses hanging down to their chins, big circles for the eyes, and creepy smiles that stretch ear to ear, and they carry powerful rifles. No one knows who's behind the mask either. I've heard that one must pass many vile and despicable rituals to become a temple guard. I can't even think about those sickening customs. I had a nightmare about this exact spot the other night. It was dreadful scary and really shook me up. Only thing that gave me peace was that it ain't possible to happen in real life. What was this? Are you gonna elaborate on that? Yes, you are. I dreamt that there was a whole cavalry of temple guards here, more than 50 of them. Uh, they was standing all alert and ready to shoot, shouting orders to each other, talking up positions. There was a terrifying panic in their voices, such that I can't fathom. There over yonder, a mass of people was slowly approaching and hiding amongst trees and bushes. It was black faces and white faces, prisoners and town folks all together. I was camping in my dad's backyard one day, and I was in my tent, and I don't know if I told the story yet or not, but I had a dream that he has two dogs, one uh, bigger, the other one smaller, and like a lighter shade. But I had a dream that there was a boy dog, same looking and all that, but like a darker shade. And then when I got up in the morning, unless this was a dream too, I don't know now, but um, my dad's girl thing told me that that exact thing was going on. They were playing with the version of that type of dog. And the mass of people kept marching forward, 100 of them. That's when the temple guards started firing and kept on firing until this place was just heavy smoke from the rifles. Well, seems like the heavy smoke is a thing. You should probably know if it's gun smoke though, because of the smell. Bodies upon dead bodies lay in wake, black bodies and white bodies, prisoners and townfolk. Blood streamed into puddles from the corpses. But the masses kept coming forward, stepping over dead, bodies trampling over almost dead. Over the almost dead. And a few of the guards ran out with bullets and tried to escape from the growing mob. One guard climbed up this here pole but slipped and fell on the rocks with a bone-crushing thud, and a mob beat on his dead body till his green robe darkened, bleeding. Maybe it did happen and we're just in denial of everything that actually happened. The guard's mask had broken when he fell, and I distinctly remember in the nightmare that it was the dead face of Farmer Jim. In the nightmare, I found myself as part of the mob, and there was no black or white in this mob. It was just one big breathing heavy seething monster. And the temple guards shot away at the monster, but there was no stopping it now. There was just too much bottled up rage powering within it. Rage at the lies, rage at the torture, rage at the injustice, rage at the exploitation, rage at the abuse, and rage at simply being made a fool of. I'm wondering if all the other girls were just happy to be married to that guy, and then since Susie was actually a good person, she kind of revealed how awful this place actually is to all the town people. But the strong rifles didn't damage the beast. Countless human carcasses laid all over this place, some with blown off limbs, others half dead, crying for help and agony. But the whole crowd kept on coming forward to get the guards. And in the nightmare, some of the scariest parts was that what happened when townfolk got a hold of the guards. Townfolk didn't have no rifles. They only brought whatever tools from their homes, like knives, hammers, and axes. The mob pounced on the temple guard, and townfolk smashed in his head with iron rods and iron griddles. A townswoman then repeatedly stabbed on his body with an hysteria on this here well, all the while screaming like a rabid animal. That dog jump scare earlier was pretty good. In another part of the dream, I saw a group of barefoot prisoners overpowering a couple of guards, grabbing their rifles from them. Prisoners didn't know how to fire the gun, but mistakenly pulled the trigger and shot the guard through the stomach at point blank range. The force of the shot pushed the prisoner off his feet, and he flew down his ledge. As the fell over the guard, the shot almost blew his body into two halves. And the crazed crowd just lurched forward. They was covered with mixed blood of dead prisoners and dead townsfolk and dead guards. They was drenched in sweat from the sweltering humidity, and their eyes had a look of pure lunacy. Some folks had brought with them fire-lit torches, and they lighted a blaze of dead bodies over the guards. They hollered and laughed like wild children, as if they was anything fun about it. At the end of the dream, all the guards had been killed, and prisoners and townfolk sat here, all in complete silence. Then one of the townsfolk broke out in loud sobs, and the rest of the folks joined in mourning the loss of the town children, their fellow townsfolk, and their hope. Others cried for their newly found freedom. It's strange that I have the same nightmare almost every night, and I always wake up screaming and crying from it. It weren't easy, but I finally made it to the temple. I'm already starting to feel peace in my mind because I arrived to my favorite place. So, let's get this straight. He has these dreams like every night, fully depicting the wrongdoings of this place, and he's still like, yeah, let's go. This is the place, you know? That's what I gather from this. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading it into it wrong, but I don't know. I don't think that. Yeah, whatever. I wish everyone could see the temple is. The lovely marble on the floors is from some far off country. The fine wood roof is all the way up from Oregon. The stained glass mural is by some fancy artist up north. I'm gonna bow down at Father Gloria's feet even longer than usually do, because I'm so delighted to see him. I can finally tell him how everyone gone missing. I'm sure he'll find a solution. wonder if they'll let me into this temple, though. There's been too much tension between the town and the temple recently. And the tension between the tension's been taking a toll even on poor Father Glorious. At a sermon some days ago, he said there was traitors amongst us, and he broke down crying, asking if we lost our faith in him. We all shouted in resound no, and told him that he's our Savior. How could we ever lose faith in him? Thankfully, that cheered him up, and he was all smiles the next minute. Oh no. Oh my Lord, the temple's on fire. Oh Lordy mercy. Help, please, somebody help. Our holy temple's burning. Oh sweet Lord, have mercy. Ain't nobody got time for that. The whole temple's on fire. It's burning down to hell. Damn George Grady and all the rest of the non-believers who gone planting this, they burnt it down. They really burnt it down. Where's Father Glorious? Where's old Lady's Bliss? God Almighty, what should I do? There's just nothing left no more. Nothing ain't a soul here to help me. Too much blood, sweat, and tears went into building this here temple. Many blacks died during this construction. Father Glory said it'd be the last structure standing during the apocalypse, but now it's all gone already. And to the temple, I guess. Why, this is where the town folks would sit on the floor when Father delivers his sermons. It was only a few days ago when he was preaching and getting us ready for the last day. And this is where Father Glorious sits on his almighty purple throne. His many wives stand behind him, and Colonel Lady Bliss beside him. And behind him, the mosaic show Father's encounter with the angels. And these here special rooms, none of us town folks allowed in them. They're only for Father's special friends like Judge Ravenel, the sheriff, and other big old officials. They always come by one of the young Lady Bliss. Can only imagine. But now it's all been burnt down to dust by George and his mercy old band of no non-believers. Y'all ain't coming to heaven with us tomorrow. Hee-yaw! You can burn and scorch here during the apocalypse. Tomorrow, how's any of us going to heaven since Father Glorious ain't here? What's going to happen tomorrow, the big day, where we going to get our milk? We need our holy milk. Are all us honest to God believers going to burn the fires when the apocalypse happens? Or will ye suffer for the acts of the doggone unbelievers that did this? Or will we not have the milk to save us from the fire? You need some milk. No, I've been running all over Hell's Half Acre preparing for the big day tomorrow. I done waited patiently all these years to drink that damn milk. Heaven and taste the streams of honey and cream and the fine wines and the milk. man be in the Garden Hills, away from his cursed stinking town of needles and the cursed dag bad prison and all the deaths and dead bodies and the torture and the getting dizzy. I can't think and I'm do all that. I can't thirsty and drain all the getting dizzy and all the green hills and dizzy, dizzy, dizzy. Susie. Oh my, what happened? That Susie screamed. Where am I? I must have passed out. And it's already night. Susie, where are you? I gotta find an helper. She's in danger. Nice moon. She's a strong girl. Ain't like her to scream. She helped an escaped prisoner knowing darn well what happened to her family and herself. Her mom and pa was beaten up by the guards in front of the whole town and in front of Susie. Her parents only agreed with the marriage after Temple threatened them with much worse fate for her. Last time I saw her at the temple was standing behind the throne with the other Lady Bliss. She dropped a letter for me and I sneakily picked it up when I bowed down at Father's feet. I gave the letter to George Grady because he's one of the few folks in town that can read. I don't know what it said, but I remember seeing the color leave his face after he had read it. He wrote a reply and asked me to give it to Susie, but I hadn't seen her since. Based on Susie's letter, George called a secret town meeting late the other night. That's when he proposed his silly idea of freeing the prisoners and take temple guards. Good for them. And probably everybody else. Except for the bad people. After the meeting, when I was sitting alone at home, I heard a knock on the door. Well, lo and behold, it was none other than Farmer Jim, and he brought along a bottle of freshly made moonshine. Whoop, whoop. I stopped drinking many years ago because Miss Wilson says the devil's in that bottle. Well, maybe I did have a wee bit here and there when she's gone to bed early, but Billy slid me a few sips every time we had a hard day at the prison. Anyhows, that no good Farmer Jim willed me into having some moonshine with him. I hadn't do much to drink. I told him stuff from the meeting that I hadn't ought to have. You fool. I'm sure Father Jim went and told the temple about townsfolk having doubts about the apocalypse. I cussed my damn self for spilling the beans about the meeting. Dear Mr. George, I dearly pray you read my first letter. You read my first letter. As I had written, you must do all you can to stop the town from drinking the heavenly milk. The town has been lied to about everything. I beg you, please save the people. The temple has started suspecting me. Give my love to Ma and Pa, Susie. I wish to heaven I would have learnt how to read when Susie was trying to teach me, but I always kept forgetting everything. I hadn't got time to figure out what this letter says. You fool. Judging by the moon, it's already well past midnight. That means apocalypse is upon us. But the angels ain't come unless Father reads a special prayer. There's only one place the mom could have taken them. I got to find the lickety split before they do it. I'll leave these flowers I picked for Susie here. I dragged myself down the hill and made it to the farms that led back to town. I'm going as fast as I can, but something ain't feeling right. I got to stay positive. Everything gonna be fine, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Those damn nab fools burn down the temple, but they ain't gonna never know nothing about the glorious. Nothing they ain't see with a finger on the milk and the burn and the moonshine. Why he spent his life for our benefit, looking over us, protecting us, and preparing us for today. Whatever misunderstanding the town's had, he's still our Father Glorious, and we sure been harmed with the milk and the moonshine, the milk, the milk. No, they ain't gonna do what they done to Titus. I promised Miss Wilson I wouldn't go into no rituals, but gosh darn it, I went to the one Titus was invited to. I saw when the town folk dropped Titus to the blindfold through these meadows and the white robes while chanting glory, glory, glory. And I seen when they brought him a big kiln called Hellfire. And I seen Farmer Jim lit the fire and town folks out on the benches as Father Glorious read the holy book. I remember seeing terror in Titus' blindfolded face. I could smell the black smoke, and I don't know what's coming. Titus then tied to the stake and kicking and screaming, or carried down a raging fire and swallowed him up whole. All of us just sat and watched, even the town's children. And that's where they're taking Father now. They're gonna tie him on the stake. They're gonna light the fire, and that non-believer bastards are gonna burn him alive. There's gonna be nothing left of Father Glorious but the charred body and ashes, and we won't get our milk. What's wrong with them? Why wouldn't they want the milk? We want the milk. What we want is the milk. I'm losing again. I got to breathe and be calm. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Everything's fine. We're gonna get our milk. Everything gonna be fine. We all been waiting too darn long for this milk. We gonna find Father Glorious soon as he be dressed in fine white robe. And soon, when it's dawn, the town bells will toll and the townsfolk congregate in the field. There'll be joy on everyone's face, excitement, and that will all soon fly away to heavens drinking milk. Many folks be looking to the skies and try and see a big bright light that an angel shine. And when everyone gathered, Father Glorious will read the final ceremony and remind us how blessed we are to be believers, for the only will ascend to the promised land. And for the non-believers and the blacks, they won't get any milk. They'll be destroyed by hellfires and everything, be devoured by the blaze of fire apocalypse. We'll look down from the sky and see a sad, warm, burning world. And when the final ceremony is complete, the townfolk have applauded, and the temple guard bring the heavy kegs filled with heavenly milk. Finally, our sweet heavenly milk. And first, all the town children will be lined up, and they'll be given a glass of milk. They'll be told to drink even if it tastes foul, and after that, they'll mind them high with tie white cloths around the faces, and the children will lay down in the field, and they'll turn to burn the milk to milk. We love milk. But then some will go awfully wrong. Many children will start screaming, the most painful, heart-wrenching cries, and more children will start wailing and shrieking in complete torment. And many of the children will be grabbing their heads and chests for an extreme pain, the likes they ain't never felt. And many of the white cloths wrapped around their heads become stained, filthy puke. Doesn't seem like the best ascension. And the parents will run to help their children, but they'll be stopped by the guards with powerful rifles, and the desperate parents will push the guards away, but the children will have already stopped screaming and crying. They'll have fallen face first on field land without breathing. And the parents will finally start understanding the whole truth, and they'll fix their manic eyes on the temple guards and Father Glorious, and Father Glorious will give instruction to the guard, and that's when they'll start firing and blasting townsfolk. Okay, so I'm guessing that he's just not accepting that all of this has already happened, since he's already kind of saying this, the quiet parts out loud kind of thing. I don't know though. And some will die by gunshots to the head, to the chest, and on the back. Others will get crushed, and townfolk rush to lock themselves in their homes. But the guards will shoot many a door open and kill whomever they find inside. By and by, the guards will run out of bullets, and they'll safely take Father Glorious back to the temple. See, I can hear the sounds of chanting. I reckon I'm close to the mob. I better hurry and get them before they light the fire. Please don't do it. Y'all gonna be forgiven if you repent and let Father Glorious go. Even George Grady can be forgiven for plotting against Father. Damn it. I should have never given him that blasted letter from Susie. I'm really that riled up, I don't even know what is said. And I should have never given George that extra keys for the prison. I didn't know he'd actually pull off his ridiculous idea and free black prisoners. And I should have never drank. I don't know what that said. That seemed important. Definitely more important than Stonewall or some other dog barking. No, I can't read that? Okay. Did he drink the milk? I think I read he drank something. I don't know. Why, what in tarnation is that damn Stonewall doing here? Boy, I've already lost my marbles. That dog was killing when prisoners escaped. I've been looking forward to this day for more 14 years, dutiful paying my earnings to the temple and devotion my heart and soul to the Father Glorious. It was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. The day was all our miseries that finally go away. Indeed, the apocalypse happened on 8888. Just not the one he was promised for so long. Why, what sort of milk from the heavens caused little children to instant brutal death? So it did go through. What kind of temple kills their own congregation, and what kind of leader peacefully watches a violent massacre unfold on his own faithful believers? Father Glorious must have had some divine reason. How could he wrong us? Oh, there he is. They already lit the fire. For the love of God, let him go. Whatever he did was likely for our benefit. He only can take us to the promised land. Let's all forget this wretched world behind us and ascend to paradise with the angels. I seen too much on that dreadful day. Too much death and too much bloodshed and too much savagery. Please take me away from here. I've been living through this same nightmare for too many years. I can't take it no longer. I've been looking all day, wondering where the townsfolk and the prisoners disappeared to, but I finally remember where everyone is now. They all dead. They been gone since years ago. Oh. Black. Bored. Or are those benches? I think they're benches. Yes. The whole town says I'm a dummy 'cause I can't think so good and keep forgetting everything, but I ain't no different from the others. See, we all simply forget things we've seen and we ain't never learned from them. I overheard Professor telling the other prisoners one day, forgot what's happened in the past and we let it repeat again and again. Nothing's going to change unless we stop forgetting. Phony, dishonest prophets will keep springing up and singing the gospel of us again against them. They'll keep dividing us for their own benefit, and we'll keep praising them for and following them with eyes shut and minds closed. When are we going to start learning from the past? When are we going to open up our eyes? I'm confused. Is stuff still going on, or because he said he forgot that it already happened, but it's happening again and again, like IRL, or is he just so mind washed or whatever that he just lets it happen every time, and everybody lets it happen every time? It's just constantly happening. I don't know. I'm gonna just curl up and sit here while I'm old and all I seen a hell of a lot of ain't no man oughta. And I know darn well I ain't, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna forget everything and live the same day over again, just like I've been living repeatedly for the last 12 years. I wish I died in the mines like all the others that day many years ago. Oh Lord, why do you let me live and see all that? I seen in this cursed town. Why, why? "27 years earlier." Everybody get out of mine, it's coming down. Get the hell out now, save yourselves, it's all crashing down. Oh my god, I can't see, help me, help me. Get out, Godfrey. You can't save him, hurry up, or you won't make it. Goddamn my company for sending us down here. My lord, just smash bodies on the rocks on my load. You wanna run? Okay, this one. You're almost out. There's the exit. Hurry up. Notorious prison shut down after scandal. Judge and sheriff accused of profiteering from prisoners. Cartwright Prison has been permanently shut down following a damning report by Senator Barnes of Alabama. The report detailed a litany of abuses, torture, corruption, and convict leasing. The majority of prisoners were black, and many had committed mere petty crimes, if those, whatever. Okay, I don't need to read that. Sight of mysterious bright light in the sky leaves many in awe. Several residents of small town of Trinity, Alabama, were left in a state of shock when a bright, mysterious flying object appeared in the sky around dawn. Witnesses say the strange object, described as a large bright light, was seen hovering in the air before flying off at an incredible speed and disappearing in the sky. Despite the many witnesses, authorities have been unable to prove any. Wow. Their audacity. Horrific scenes of mass murder and suicide in a rural Alabama town. Authorities yesterday made the shocking discovery of hundreds of dead bodies in the small town of Needle, Alabama. These bodies were believed to be members of an obscure apocalyptic cult, as well as escapees from a nearby prison. Several survivors detailed chilling amounts of the accounts of the day that began town's children being poisoned during a ceremony and the end of the cult leader, Avery Cartwright, being burnt alive in the kiln. Really, that is impossible. Why would they do this to me? 50 years after Needle, Alabama tragedy, former cult member reveals all. Mary Jones, real identity hidden, has detailed her traumatic childhood and infamous kinship temple cult of Needle, Alabama, where she was a child bride to the leader, Avery Cartwright. She was shot in the leg while making her harrowing escape from their temple and was rescued by authorities after the shocking events that took place in a town nearly 50 years ago on August 8th, 1888. I never wanted anyone to go through what I did. Mary rescued 8 days after silo mine collapses. All the feared dead survivors suffered severe brain damage. A tale, that's probably me, severe coal mine accident left Evans buried alive, and has accidentally occurred when the mine collapsed and landed top dozen miners underground. Despite the efforts, rescue teams, only one person, Godfrey Davis, was able to make it out alive. After being inspected by doctors, he was described as severely brain damaged. Really wish I could have read that. 8/8/1866. Stop your goddamn Harlan mooing. You stupid cow, I'm coming. Can't a man get no goddamn sleep round here? What's the world's come to that a cart rat has to tend to horses and cows personally? The war done ravaged my whole business. Those lousy no good Yankees destroyed my land and then freed my ungrateful damn slaves. Hell, I gave those blacks food and shelter, but they betrayed me in the end. They left me the minute they could, just like she left me as soon as my money done run out. Curse all of them. Curse this blasted cow and just won't stop hollering. Is that the light in the sky? Are there aliens? I miss the good old days just to be sitting in my porch watching the slaves work in the fields, hearing them say, yes, sir, every time I ask for anything. But now look at me. Ain't none gone no more slaves, no more money, no more family, and no more damn respect. Alas, I got left is a couple of cows that don't let me sleep and rotten job at prison. Boy, whenever I get a chance, there's gonna be hell for all those who wrong me. Who's fucking the cow? I'm Avery Cartwright. I'm a show everybody again once I get back on my feet. I've been riding with the clan and I've been going back to church. The Lord gonna show me the way. Where the hell all my cows go? Really, they're gonna turn this into an alien abduction story? Eight, 888, Needle, Alabama. That was the story. Thank you for playing. If you enjoyed, please leave a review on the store so we can make similar experiences in the future. So was he just crazy, or was that a fabricated story he made? Who knows? Anyways, that was 8888 Needle, Alabama. Pretty dark in some parts of it, pretty strange. Really fast news place. Like when I was trying to read the newspapers, that was insanely fast. Nobody could possibly read all that. But yeah. Thank you all for sticking around if you did. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you are around still. Please subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time, Potato Bros.